two nuns back in about the 1200s, Gertrude the Great and her sister Mechtilde. Tell me also, I know it's a small room, but if I go into low tones, which I can do, because I'm so meditative, just raise your hand. And Mechtilde was very jealous because Gertrude seemed to get all the big blessings and graces. You know, she was this big prophet. I mean, she's known as Gertrude the Great. And Mechtilde complained to God and said, you know, why can't I get all of those graces and those blessings? And God spoke to her and said, Gertrude's heart is open with so much gratitude. There is no limit of what I can pour into her. And my heart is filled with gratitude to be with you today. I want to speak just a little bit to this notion of living our yes, living your yes. We'll really break it open if you choose to stay afterwards. But I do have one message that I'd like to bring forward here that was showcased in the reading that Laura read. In the beginning in that poem, I don't know if you could sense it, there was something of a bittersweet quality. Our hearts will never pass this way again. And we've all tasted that. There's this paradox of this relishing a moment that is so expansive and harmonious and filled with joy, serenity. You can fill in your own descriptors. And yet there is this knowing that in this life that we're living, that moment is going to pass. We can't hold on to it. I know I sometimes thought I had arrived. I'll be here forever. It has that elusive quality because it's touching upon our essential nature so deeply and so simply. And we have arrived in that moment. And then we have sometimes the emotion of sadness that comes once that moment passes, and another experience of events in our lives, emotions that are less than pleasant, unexpected circumstances, changes in our relationships with others in our world that bring us what seems to be out of that moment of union and simplicity and into a place of separation. So, it begs the question, if we're meant to live a yes, that even feels good when you say it, right? Don't we all like saying yes? There's something that goes like that. Yes. If we're meant to live that yes more and more and more consistently, what's the nature of the journey? Or is it a lie? If we're not really meant to live that quality of presence that is stably in the place that has penetrated the illusion of separateness. I had an experience that Laura shared with you of jumping in that playpen of corn shucks. That was in North Dakota, by the way. And my monastic tradition, the Carmelite tradition, we lived almost exclusively in silence. And then the day was a rhythm of chant and meditation and farming the land and deep, deep, expansive rituals, which was very life-giving. I had many moments that were unitive, like that one in the playpen. That taught me something in that moment that I wish to bring forward here and break open a little bit. It taught me that if we position ourselves in life, that every moment is our teacher, we begin to establish the ability to stand consistently in our center. When we move away from life revealing itself to us, which is the nature of teaching, it's a revealing, it's a learning, it's a growing in insight and wisdom. When we move away from that stance, we step away from the opportunity of each moment to reveal the divine mystery that's unfolding in our lives. So the simple invitation that we have is to again and again and again step back and say, what, O life, O love, O source, are you teaching me? And now it can be really easy when we're experiencing that ecstasy and that bliss and that harmony of body, mind, and soul. And it can be daunting to hold that same position when we're not already in that easy flowing place. I want to give you an example of holding to the center. Another example from the monastery that I'm not going to read from the book so that I can just tell you as an invitation to what that means. In monastic life, there are a full range of duties that we have. So some of them are longer term. I ended up being one of the cooks. So as long as I was a nun for 10 and a half years. The 4.5 that I was in North Dakota, I was one of the cooks. So that's a longer term duty. I want to speak to more the short term, because you can imagine with 22 women living 24/7 together, there's a lot that goes into maintaining a household and a monastery. So we had weekly duties that would change. They would be things such as reading at table, since we ate in silence. There were duties like being the chantress, which meant you would begin the chanting so that everyone could join in. And there was a duty that I'm going to focus on, just simply called the tabernacle light. It was a very simple duty. When we would all process together into the chapel to meditate or chant, you would turn the sanctuary lights on. And when we processed to leave, you would turn the lights off. That's very simple duty, right? The lights on, the lights off. And you did it about 8 times a day, because we would get up at midnight, we were up again at 5, and our day was punctuated with work. We lived where we were constantly meditating and praying and chanting. We fit in work here and there. Well, I had come to one of those places which you can probably relate to, where I had this very ecstatic experience and I gave this big yes to God, like, I'm ready for the next level, take me. And as you can probably imagine from your own experience, what ensues at that point? You give a bigger allowing and surrendering, and chaos sets in. Well, this showed up in a myriad of ways. My clock stopped working, so I started letting the community down because I was supposed to wake people up at midnight, and all sorts of failings that were inconvenient in community life. And the tabernacle light was one of them. Shortly after I gave this big surrender, my duty for that week came up as the tabernacle light, which up until that point, I had never forgotten. It was just like a no-brainer. And all of a sudden, I could never remember to turn the light off. Not just once a day, but 8 times a day, every day, for the entire week. And nobody turns the light off for you. In monastic life, it's all a matter of observance and obedience. And, this is my divine duty. So, it's my role to do it. So instead of somebody just turning the light off for me, I get buzzed. And that buzz, because we farm the land, would go out upon the prairie lands, letting everybody know that I had forgotten the light. And then I would race to go turn the light off and go about what I was doing. Well, I was young, I was probably like 25, and I was all zealous, and I was like, okay, what's my lesson? Right? You look at it, you're like, there's something here for me to learn, and we know that. Whenever challenges come in our lives, there is a lesson. So I thought, well, I'm just meant to practice greater presence. So I made this inward commitment that the next time I had the duty, that's what I was going to do. A couple weeks rolled around, I got the duty again, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Greater presence. And I forgot the light. Every day, 8 times a day, the entire week. What would happen is I would be all centered and calm. I'd have my eye on the light as we're leaving. And then inevitably, as I turned to my left to leave the door, something would happen. The nun in front of me would catch her sleeve on the doorknob. The cat would run in the middle of my steps. And that little distraction would leave me forgetting the light. So that week ended. I'm like, okay, well, this just means that I'm meant to be creative about how I fulfill God's will. So what I did is I got this big piece of yellow construction paper the next time the Judy came around, and I wrote light on the big construction paper. Now, monastic life it's very solemn. So, the colors are brown and black and white, and, the monastery's all of stone, and it's elegant. And I walk in every day with my yellow piece of construction paper, and I plop it on my stall right near all our chant books. And then I pick up the paper as we're going to leave, and I'm holding it in front of me. And what do you think happens? Totally. I forgot the light every single time, the entire week. So this went on and on and on. And each time I rallied this inner zeal and courage and creativity. I tried something different each time, and I kept forgetting and forgetting and forgetting. Finally, about 6 months down the road, it had become a community joke, by the way, at that point. So, the few times that we spoke. And
a solemn joke.
Right. Yes. Finally, I had come to my private hour of meditation one day, and I was kneeling there. And I know you can appreciate this, whether you're Christian or not, and it's because it's about the mystical essence of it all. And I was kneeling there, and in the silence, and I had come to a place of great serenity, the remembrance, the recollection of that continual failure came into my awareness. And in relation to it, I felt really discouraged. For the first time in all of my commitment to this duty, I allowed the real feeling of discouragement to come forward. And as I felt discouraged, it felt like my whole spirit was just sinking down, because I had tried so hard. And as it sank down and I allowed that surrender to happen, I opened up for some inspiration, and I pulled a Bible off the shelf, and I randomly opened it, and this passage lit up and jumped off the page to me. And it was a parable where Jesus' friends were in a boat on the water, and sometime late in the evening, Jesus was walking on the water and coming towards the boat. And Peter said to Jesus, "If that's you, I want to walk on the water too." And Jesus is like, "Come on." And Peter gets out of the boat and he starts walking on the water. And as he's walking on the water, the winds begin to pick up, and the water begins to undulate and move. And Peter gets distracted and he begins to sink. And as he sank, it was my sinking. That whole feeling of discouragement was embodied in Peter's losing his center. And right after that, there was this phrase: immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. And as those words came to me, I could feel, as my spirit had sunk, these huge arms come down and surround my discouraged spirit right where I was. And I realized there isn't anything I can say or not say, do or not do, be or not be, that could take me out of or deprive me of being in that divine embrace in every moment. And the lesson sunk in so deeply that I never forgot the tabernacle light again. And it didn't matter at that point. Allowing our lives to teach us. Not just in the glorious, emotionally satisfying moments, but in the moments when we encounter within our own hearts the hidden places where there still remains doubt, insecurity, a notion of insufficiency, discouragement. Because it is right within the very heart of those hidden caverns that the message is waiting to be revealed. I think it's put well in Psalm 19. It's verses 3 and 4. So it starts, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament proclaims this handiwork. Day unto day tells the story, and night unto night reveals the message. Our living, our yes, is a yes to the days and the nights of our journey. Because we're a soul expressing itself in time and space. We're a localized experience of the divine creativity. And our allowing informs the world with a wisdom unspoken. It's the sounding of the unsounded. And it is within those very, very silent places within that the sounding is heard by us, assented, and then realized as it magnifies into each cell, shifting our being, raising the consciousness within our world. The days and the nights, we have the continual invitation. That's why I named my book Love Calls, because my sense, my experience, my belief is that this calling is welling up within, unceasingly, continually, infinitely. And our participation is simply a yes to that. Not a yes to what I'm going to do, but a yes to that. And what we do is a celebration of that union. So allowing our lives to be our teacher. Let's just take a moment. Let's just sit in the silence for just a moment. Allow the silence to bring forward its own sounding. And then I'll end this moment of my words with one of the chants that's very close to my heart, that is an embodiment of the divine feminine in my experience. Mater misericordiae. Vita dulcedo, et spes nostra salve. A te clamamus, exsulens Filii Eve. A te suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in hac lacrimarum vale. Ea ergo advocata nostra, illos tuos misericordes oculos, ad nos converte, et Jesum benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis post hoc exilium ostende. O clemens, O pia, dulcis Virgo Maria. There is an open cavern within, sitting still like the starry expanse, empty with a void, pregnant with an expectation. New life on its way. Stay empty, my companion. Stay pregnant, my friend. The labor pains are soon to start, unraveling all you thought you knew, desolating all you thought you had. Yes, the laughter of life, soon, so soon, will be sitting upon your lap.
Special music song, just you doing another chant. Serious. Really loved it. This is really strange.
You did that.
That
didn't go off.
sound is, it's not working. I'm kidding. Uh-huh, yeah. Uh-huh, thank you. This is, if we didn't know the truth, we'd call it spooky.
Acapella.
It's not, there's nothing happening here. That's never happened before. Yeah. Uh-huh.
What do you want to do now?
Well,
Mine
do you want
works.
to lead us in a chant? Would you like to do that?
Let me see what.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you would like to do that. It seems like it's supposed to happen, judging from the electronic situation. I mean, honestly, it's
Well,
just.
it's what energy does.
Right.
You know, coffee pots quit working
I mean,
probably
it's-
when she goes in a room.
It's not, yeah.
It's just.
You're not gonna have any sound.
Oh, here
Oh, there we go.
There.
We just needed a recalibration.
Exactly.
You just had to touch it.
All right, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. This is Treat and Move My Feet, Annie Sims and Susan Shane. If I wanna have more love in my life, it's time to open my heart up, let it shine. Whatever it is I truly desire is mine if I can be inspired. If I wanna have more joy in my life, I've got to keep on smiling till I feel alright. The key to success is in my hands. As soon as I understand, I've got to cheat and move my feet. I've got to cheat and move my feet. Oh, if I wanna have more peace in my life, I need to take time to listen to my voice inside. If I know who I am and my aim is true, the only thing I've got to do, I've got to cheat and move my feet. I've got to cheat and move my feet. Oh, nobody else is gonna rescue me. I've got to cheat and move my feet. Oh, nobody else is gonna rescue me. I've got to cheat and move my feet.
Thank you.